During the toast, my stepfather lifted a glass for the whole hall. He said he raised a daughter through graduate school. He said not easy. He said today she marries well and his heart is finally steady. Everyone applauded. The host handed me the microphone for gratitude. I smiled the way brides are trained to smile. I said thank you, Dad. Then I said I want everyone to hear how the steadiness was built. The speakers played a clipped audio file. His voice was low, intimate, transactional. He called me girl and asked me to front the bride price cash for his turnover. Do not tell your mother. Her heart cannot take it. A chopstick clattered onto a plate. My mother's face emptied of color. My name is Shen Zhao. I am 29. My mother remarried 20 years ago. Zhu Zhenguo, my stepfather, looked reliable to neighbors. Warm greetings, enthusiastic help, endless stories about hardship. When I was small I called him Dad too. Growing up taught me roles can be performed. Mother feared domestic fracture more than anything. Chu learned the password. One sentence, I do this for the family, could make her concede. One sentence, do not let the kid look down on me, could make her absorb damage. First crack in my trust came during graduate school. Tuition suddenly fell short. Mother cried and blamed business pressure. I believed her. I borrowed, worked night shifts, wrote papers until my stomach burned. Years later I learned tight money was not the household. It was his risk appetite wearing our safety net. I did not rage immediately. I archived transfers, chats, repayment promises that never matured. I was not hunting drama. I was insulating my mother from blindsiding collateral damage. Engagement turned negotiations formal. Mother insisted bride price arrive in my account first. Then I decide usage with clarity. Publicly Zhu praised my responsibility. Privately he framed a father's request. It was not a request. It was boundary testing. Would I trade temporary peace for permanent leverage? Would I stay the convenient daughter who stabilizes his image? Wedding rehearsal day he hugged me for photos. His hand on my shoulder felt like a warning disguised as warmth. I prepared 2 versions of my speech. One polite. One precise. I gave the DJ a sealed envelope. Instructions said play only if I nod. When the nod happened, it was not adrenaline joy. It was refusal to fund another year of borrowed dignity. Chaos followed predictable shapes. Relatives intervened with tradition. Somebody said air the dirty laundry later. I said this laundry has been rotting inside my mother's chest for a decade. Somebody said respect elders. I said respect requires reciprocity, not immunity. Mother swayed. We sat her down, fanned her, gave water. I did not enjoy her shock. I refused to confuse pain with punishment. Pain was the cost of long silence. After the banquet ended in fragments, the real work began. Not social media warfare. Bank tracing, notarized timelines, counseling intake for my mother. I printed a readable chronology with dates she could verify without shame. Not to force divorce overnight, to restore her agency inside fear. Zhu sent long angry voice notes. He called me ungrateful. He said he carried the roof. I replied with one principle. Carrying a roof does not entitle you to pickpocket the foundation. Legal paths are tedious. They should be tedious. Tedium is where protection lies. Months later mother spoke in shorter sentences. She asked fewer permission questions. She began asking factual ones. That shift mattered more than any applause clip. If you are young and someone weaponizes family harmony against your boundaries, hear me. Harmony built on hidden extraction is not peace. It is deferred collapse. If you are a parent listening, notice who benefits when you tell your child to endure. Notice who thanks you for silence. Ethics is not the loudest speech at a wedding. Ethics is what you do when guests leave and invoices remain. I still believe in marriage. I still believe in family when family means mutual repair. I stopped believing in performances that require daughters to pay backstage fees forever. On anniversaries now we keep dinners small. No toast theater. Just soup, sunlight, and phones face down unless someone needs help scheduling a doctor. That is not cinematic. That is healing with adult supervision. The recording still exists in encrypted storage. I do not replay it for pleasure. I keep it like a vaccine card. Proof of what happened. Proof of what I refuse to repeat. If your story rhymes with mine, start smaller than a wedding mic. Start with one vague alert you refuse to ignore. Start with one sentence you refuse to swallow unchewed. Start with documentation, because love should not depend on amnesia. And if someone tells you family means never drawing lines, answer gently. Family means drawing lines together so nobody has to bleed in the dark. That is the ethics I can live under. That is the ethics I will teach my child if I ever have one. Not fear dressed as duty, truth dressed as care. Care loud enough to be examined, care steady enough to survive daylight. People asked why I chose a public venue. Because private confrontation had failed for years. Because secrecy had become a second income stream for guilt. Because my mother deserved witnesses who were not curated by him. The embarrassment was sharp but finite. Continuing silence would have cost her decades. Friends split into camps. Some said I ruined a beautiful day. Others said beauty built on concealed loans is staged lighting. Both opinions can coexist. Facts do not. We met with lawyers on plain chairs under fluorescent bulbs. No violin soundtrack. Just signatures and schedules. Mother asked if I hated you. I said I hated what fear did to her spine. She nodded like she finally recognized her own fatigue. Money returns slowly, never dramatically. Real recoveries rarely look like viral refunds. They look like spreadsheets with incremental green cells. I kept working my job through it all. Normal income kept me from negotiating from desperation. Independence is not attitude. Independence is runway. My husband, then fiancé, did not intervene theatrically. He brought water, drove, held space. That steadiness mattered more than any speech about protection. Love that shows up without owning your battle is rare. I learned to accept help without trading autonomy. Therapy taught me one phrase I repeat. Loyalty without boundaries becomes self-erasure. Boundaries without warmth becomes cruelty. I aim for the narrow bridge between them. Years later, relatives still joke about my wedding. I smile and change the subject, because the joke is not funny. The joke is how often families demand daughters perform gratitude for survival. If you listen to this while driving at night, keep both hands on the wheel. Anger can make you brave. It can also make you reckless. Let evidence steer more than adrenaline. If one line stays with you, let it be this. Ethics is not purity. Ethics is refusing to fund your own disappearance. I'm Shen Zhao. I paid for my wedding with savings and clarity. I paid for my peace with paperwork and patience. Both prices were worth it, because the alternative price was my mother's remaining years spent apologizing for air.